All right. What do we have for Aquarius, please? I have already shuffled this deck several times for you. I'm just going to do 2 more hard shuffles and 3 soft. What do we have? What do we have for Aquarius, please? In 3, please. What do we have for Aquarius who are watching this video? What do we have for Aquarius? What do we have for Aquarius who are watching this video? Wow. Lot of Taurus energy. Both the Hierophant and the Knight of Pentacles are related to Taurus. But, you know, that doesn't mean a whole lot. You could be dealing with a Taurus, or you could have Taurus aspected heavily in your chart or your person's chart. So I'm going to read this in a couple of contexts. First of all, someone is feeling very, very dedicated to you. You make them feel very grounded and secure. Whether you realize it or not, maybe this person is not very flamboyant or exciting. This person is definitely not very romantic, but they are feeling very grounded, secure, and dedicated to you. The challenge is that you may be waiting a while if you're looking for a commitment. This person does have commitment in mind. However, this person moves very slowly. But this person as a romantic partner, the upside to that is that they will, when they do decide to commit, you will find that they are, you know, they will offer you the utmost in stability, reliability, fidelity, and dedication. But the problem is the wait, okay? This is a fixed sign that moves very, very slowly. So just continuing on with the first way that I'm going to interpret this, if it has to do with commitment and marriage. The Hierophant can sometimes relate to an arranged marriage or a relationship where there is a huge age difference between the two people who are uniting. Now, the other thing about this is that the Hierophant tells us to do what he says or she says. It can be, you know, the reason why we say this is a card sometimes of arranged marriages, especially with this card of obligation here and commitment. And sometimes the Knight of Pentacles can be a binding contract. Generally it is a card of conventional marriage, so it's not based. It may not be based on romantic love. It could be a marriage of convenience, okay? This could be a marriage that's being done in a courtroom or by a justice of the peace. All right, so I'm going to now tell you what I am worried that the other interpretation concerns me here. This is all about a group, a society, order. These two people here, these two monks, have to go through certain tests and teachings, and it's very difficult for them to be initiated into this group, okay? So, I mean, on a, on a lighter note, perhaps you are converting, for example, to Judaism. Maybe you're marrying a Jew and you want to convert. This has to do with being initiated into a group. This person can initiate you into a group. It could be something as simple as initiating into a team, a sports team, or a church, or a school, something like that. All right? But there's a lot of tests that have to be gone through, a lot of learning. Teachings must be followed, and there is no negotiating here. What this person says goes. At times, the Hierophant can relate to, well, it always relates to conformity, social norms, and a powerful organization. So, in other words, there may be a government job that you're trying to get, like a CEO of a hospital or a large corporation. It would be a powerful, large group, okay? Order and conformity are highlighted here. Zero spirituality. For example, the pillars here and the roots of those pillars, they do not change. They stay constant. So the Hierophant rules over tradition, conventional beliefs, discipline, social order. So it can be, as you can imagine, it can involve very outdated thinking. What's incredible about this split is that the Hierophant is associated with the Hebrew letter Vav. And what I find interesting is over here, you've got a knight. Well, the Hebrew letter Vav relates back to all of the knights, okay? They say that, when you look at the monks in that card, you're to think of the monks as the Va, or the knights setting out on a quest to get in there. All right? So just to highlight again, as a precursor as to what I'm working up to here, the thing that I'm worried that this is about, these two monks down there, they cannot get through those pillars. They cannot get in to that place unless they study very hard. They have to follow rituals. They have to listen to that person without question. That's the only, they are trying to get into that place. All right? Notice how they're kneeling in front of the Hierophant. So, there are roses and lilies on the coats of those two monks. Those are related and symbolic to the physical world, all right? The monks are there there's the reason why they're below. Notice how they're below him. That is to tell us that they are subservient to the teacher, okay? Now, bear in mind the hand gesture that the Hierophant, I don't know if you can see that? That hand gesture, which looks like, hey, peace man, that hand gesture is a mudra. It's called kapithaka. And what it means is what you see is not all that is there. The Hierophant is wearing a triple crown, okay? And that is supposed to be indicative of the Hierophant having a very high social status. You'll see the keys down there.
These are supposed to be the keys of St. Peter, the keys to heaven and hell. You know, it denotes that this person is incredibly powerful. However, as we all know, power can be abused. And the downside of the Hierophant, because this can relate to any kind of society or cult, secret society, a cult, even an unusual or, one of these very particular religious sects, sects. So the Hierophant can be corrupt and ruthless. Someone who abuses authority, exploits the vulnerable. Perhaps these two people are poor and they, came from an orphanage and they're looking for stability. The Hierophant can actually exploit that, confuse people, for the purpose of becoming very powerful and even profit monetarily. This person in that polarity, they're going to maintain some very rigid rules. You'll find that they'll have pretty archaic rules, and this person will vilify anyone who's open-minded. This person is incredibly fearful of anyone who thinks outside the box. Not just fearful, but has a lot of hate for open-minded people. This person, if it were a religious sect, they would convince these followers that the only way, the gateway to the divine is their way, that they are the only ones that know how to get there. And part of their reason for being is to discredit and eliminate anyone who challenges them. So it could be a cult, it could be a secret society. I don't know what we're going to see next, so I could be wasting your time by going on by this. But the feeling that I got when I got these two fixed energies is that someone is devoted. Someone, and this can be a binding contract. This person may feel obligated to this person. So it could be a situation where, and I'm so sorry to be talking about something so sad and serious, but it can be something like a young woman, let's say, who's in a family where her uncle is sexually abusing her and her mother keeps bringing her to the residence of her uncle, and this could be the girl who feels obligated to go. It's that kind of a thing. I'm getting this feeling of abuse of power here. Okay, let's keep going. Hopefully I'm dead wrong. If I'm dead wrong, at least we've explored the downside of the Hierophant here, and you can look out for it later. Okay, let's, with a positive mindset, keep going, and hopefully I'm wrong about that. All right, show me more, please, Spirit. Show me more. Okay, we're going to have to, I'm going to go in 3, in 2, and in 1. Spirit, show me more, please. Show me more. Show me more, please. It's right here. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stand by, Aquarius. This is just off the cuff. I haven't even started thinking about this yet, but I feel like blurting this out.
if I am right about what I said a moment ago, this person could be going to the law, they could be having, if someone is being sexually abused, they could be reporting them, hopefully. Anyway, and I just saw 15, devil, devil, just as I said that. Anyway, give me a moment, Aquarius. I need to meditate on this for a moment. All right, so if we were reading this in its most positive way, from the very beginning up to right now, it could be about a marriage. This could be solidifying the marriage contract here. But if this is what I think it really is, which is about the abuse of power theme, this split here is very good news. And I want to show you something. Notice how the Hierophant, this is the Hierophant from a different deck. Do you see these two pillars? Those pillars were gray, all right? Her pillars are gray as well. She's also sitting between two pillars. Her pillars are full of wisdom. Now, notice the Hierophant's crown is a very fancy triple crown, okay? Do you see any blue or anything to indicate spirit in the Hierophant's crown? No. Notice how in the Justice, in Lady Justice's crown, it's a very plain crown, but there is a blue square, and that is indicative of Keter, or spirit, God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, whatever your name for God is. Her sword. Now this deck that I'm using, this is the Radiant Tarot deck. It's not, doesn't have the same colors as the original Rider-Waite one does, but in the original Rider-Waite deck, her sword is blue, all right, indicating empathy. Her scales are golden. Do you see the yellow up there, the golden scales? The yellow links justice to the sun, in other words, the truth, all right? The purple backdrop there has to do with karmic retributions. The idea here is that anyone who has been engaging in anything negative, trickery, malice, will eventually take its toll. Okay? If there has been injustice, corruption, someone who is abusing power, being inflexible, victimizing somebody, committing crime, this isn't legal justice, this is karmic justice. So that person, you are not to take action, except there's only one thing that you're required to do if you are in this situation, and that is to tell the truth. Truth alone will bring forth the fairness. All right. Now, what's interesting? This card, karmic justice, karmic retribution, it brings an end to cruelty. That sword that she's holding up is the sword of truth. What's interesting is that the justice card is often related to government agencies, the law, courts, banks, business centers, bureaucracies, police stations, and also government agencies that are supposed to be concerned with bettering society. So if this is what I think it is if the Hierophant that we saw represents somebody abusing power in some way, this is going to be rectified. this is going to be rectified. Now, the advice of this card, and what I find really interesting, is that part of the advice of this card is to think carefully about your studies, what you're studying. So if it relates to some kind of a cult or an initiation, you must stop and think. You may have a choice or a decision to make. A legal contract could be involved. But the outcome, when this card comes up, the outcome is always a favorable outcome for you. Let's keep going. I forgot to mention, on a very mundane level, this could be somebody who is delaying agreeing to divorce you, or delaying a contract, or delaying a marriage, okay? Because this person is waiting. All right, let's keep going. Spirit, show us more, please. Show us more. Show us more, please. Spirit, show us more. Here it is. So I really hope that I'm wrong about this. This is definitely a child. This is an older man. He could be a father or a person in authority. Now, I want to indicate, I just want to, as you know, I don't do reversals, but I believe that in this, if I did, we would have a reversed Page of Wands here. When it comes to abuse of children, whether it's psychological or physical, psychologically abused children can come up as the Page of Swords. Physically abused children can come up as the Page of Pentacles. Emotionally abused children can come up as the Page of Cups. And sexually abused children come up as the Page of Wands. And in relation to the Emperor, negatively aspected, the Emperor can indicate a destructive and unbalanced relationship with whoever this is, being authoritative and dominant, misusing their authority, abusing their authority, unresolved father issues. Let's just keep going. I mean, the problem that I have is that there's a huge age difference here. I'm not seeing romance. I'm seeing power, authority, and sex, and a young child. That's what I'm seeing. Sorry that this is such a negative reading. Just a moment. I do believe, though, that justice will prevail. So it may, although somebody has suffered here, I do believe that justice is going to prevail. Let's keep going. Thank you, Spirit. What happens next, Spirit? Show us more, please, Spirit. Thank you for the information. Show us more, please, Spirit. Okay, so there's 3 coming out. There's one thing, and this is definitely about child sexual abuse. Every single card now, every single card relating to the abuse of a child has now come out in this reading. Every single one. The Hierophant, the Emperor, the Devil, Justice, 6 of Cups, Page of Wands. And I'm going to explain to you what this now means. In my readings, what I've noticed when it comes to trafficking of young girls or initiating young women, and actually I have to say girls because it's usually when they're very young, into the sex trade. You know what comes up? An ending, a stopping. Their life stops and never begins again. Something just stops. And this is something that's stuck. It cannot move forward. Cannot move. Somebody, we are all as a society responsible for this by turning a blind eye, being in denial. The story that I told you earlier of the young woman whose mother kept bringing her to her uncle's house, that's a true story. That's a true story about someone that I know. Don't worry, she doesn't watch tarot, but I was with her when we told her mother about it. I think we were 12 or 13, and that was back in the age of the typewriters. I'm very old, by the way. So we sat down and typed up a letter to her mother, and then we delivered it to her office, slid it under the door, and we ran back to her house. We were so scared about how her mother was going to react. So, of course, I was hoping that her mother would come back and apologize and be upset, and her mother, about 45 minutes later, came back into the house with treats and candy and groceries and pop. Came into the room I was in. She said, "Oh," and I won't say her name, "Sure, he did that to your Aunt May and your Aunt this, so and so." And that's how she reacted. And then gave us a bunch of gifts and then went back to work. Two weeks later, my friend was out of town visiting the very uncle that her mother knew was abusing her. And the abuse continued right up to university. When a group of us girls, there were 3 of us, myself and the other friend, what we did was every time the uncle tried to come and visit her, we would show up at the apartment, at my friend's apartment, and we wouldn't leave. Anyway, this is no laughing matter. I believe that a child was abused. This person, whoever this is not you, this is somebody who turned a blind, bloody eye to it. They were in denial. And they did nothing. They did nothing. And you may have gone into this mode where you just couldn't think about it. You were a child. You may have been 6. Back here. Back here. Somebody just walked away. This could have been the abuser. You can barely see him. Do you see how the devil here, how he's sitting and how his legs are in the shape of a heart? The pentagram is upside down, of course, because there's fire, earth, air, water. Up there is supposed to be spirit. Spirit is dumped out of this card. There's no love. There's just greed, sex. The woman's hand gesture there is a gesture of being passive. It's like she's susceptible to anything that this person suggests. His hand gesture is sort of cupped. That's called Sarpashira. He says, I'll protect you from evil. No. And that gesture, it means two things. Apart from what the Hierophant says, not what you see here is not all. This devil is saying, this is all there is. There's nothing more. There's nothing hidden. It's also exactly like the gesture of Shefatal, Aaron's blessing. All the promises that were breached. Promise of protection. The promise of guarding you. Illuminating your wholeness. And setting you in place. All you need for life. All these promises were breached. Which has kept this person stuck. Unable to move. Stuck right there at that age. That's when things ended for that child. The promise should have been, the actual blessing was Hashem will kneel before you, presenting gifts, and will guard you with a hedge of protection, will illuminate your wholeness of your being and set in place all you need to be complete. All of those promises were breached. All of them. Peace became misery. Wholeness became incompleteness. The glow became dull. And instead of protecting you, you had to face danger, or whoever this is. Shame on this person. Shame on that woman, whoever that is, who turned a blind eye to it. Shame on her. Let's keep going. Spirit's telling me to calm down. All right, in 3, please, Spirit. No, Spirit says in 2. Okay. What else do we have, Spirit? Okay. Oh, thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Okay, this is the end of the reading. Spirit, thank you. And this is Spirit, this is God, this is also somebody else. Somebody who is going to seek out the truth for you. This could be an investigator. If it isn't legal, if you don't report it legally, this is karmic retribution. It operates by spirit. I mean, we've all heard these news stories about parents who, show up at the courthouse and shoot the abuser. But that isn't necessary, because the karma that is coming to this person is beyond. It's much worse than them dying quickly, from a gunshot. I'm not even going to use the word to explain what that backdrop has in mind. But it's fair. This is Lady Justice. And it's doled out by spirit. So, whoever you are, And this reading may be about you or just someone that you know. It may be for a cross watcher, for an abuser. Let me speak first to the abuser. First of all, the card that comes before this card is the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune comes before this card because if you want to avoid suffering in a very great manner, you have to take action. You have to get yourself straight to a police station and confess what you've done. And you can avoid suffering that way. If you don't do that, and I'm speaking to the abuser, you've no idea what you're about to face. You can take the abuse that you doled out to that child and multiply it by infinity. It'll be a long, drawn out suffering. So you can reverse, you can avoid great suffering by taking action and telling the truth, taking responsibility. Now, Spirit is already watching you. Already. Spirit knows every single thing that you did. And to the victim here, Spirit wants you to know that Spirit is on this. All right? Spirit has seen this. Aquarius, I'm so sorry it was such a deep, serious reading. I'm going to try to get one positive. What I'll do is I'll get a chakra card. I'll get a moonology card. And an oracle card. Give me a moment, please. All right, beginning with the moonology card, please. Sorry, Aquarius, this takes so long. Okay, so there were a couple of them. I'm going to read them all. I'm going to get a chakra card for you. There we go. And I'm going to get a universe has your back card, and the universe does have your back. Okay. I think there's two there. All right, let's see what we have. Let's start with the moonologies. Step out of your comfort zone. So you may want to confront this person. You may want to reveal a truth. This will mean different things to different people. A win-win outcome is forecast. Look at the scales of justice. Karmic justice. Could be legal justice as well. Be bold and make the first move. So you may want to report this or just have faith in your dreams. You aren't stuck. You are not stuck. Your dreams can come to fruition. Your commitment is being tested. I believe that's your commitment to spirit. And my dear, my love, a new start is coming. Let's see what we have for the chakra card. Foundation. So this, I believe, is the root chakra. Foundation is what the castle of your soul is built upon. So you are safe. You are grounded. You do belong here. You have a right to be here. So you may want to do some clearing of your root chakra, because if the root chakra is out of balance, every other chakra is going to have a problem. So just Google, on my Amabella's Intuition channel, there is a 7-minute chakra balancing video. So, because I know most people don't have a lot of time. I am a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love. So what happened to you was not spiritual, obviously. It was human. This was the suffering. As I always say, the purpose of being in this world is to endure the suffering and to advance spiritually. It's not an easy world to live in. The key to prayer is to forget what I think I need. So here's what I'd like you to do. I want you simply to pray, to be happy for yourself, to be peaceful, and to be able to achieve your goals. And tell Spirit that you trust Spirit to deal with the perpetrator of this very, I call it, it doesn't matter that it's a legal crime. What matters is that it was spiritually wrong. It's a spiritual crime. Aquarius, I love you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you. God love you.